Hi, friend.
Hello, Faith. How are you?
Good. Boy, I sure could have used you and all your beauty tips and help over the last, I don't know, however many months. My goodness, Stace.
It's it's been top secret. I bet it's been a whirlwind.
It has definitely been a whirlwind. Yeah.
So let's start by first asking what made you decide to want to go on a national platform like Golden Bachelor show?
Well, I obviously didn't know it was going to be like this. I didn't know it was this big of a deal. Brendan, my son, signed me up. I didn't even read the small print. He just said, Mom, because he's a big fan of The Bachelor. So one day we were sitting around talking about our love lives. And I said, well, yeah, maybe I'll date again, but I just don't know about the dating sites and blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'm just over it. Maybe I'm just done for life. Maybe, I'll just do the rest of my life alone. And he's like, no, you totally should date. All of a sudden he goes, oh my gosh, Mom, there's a golden bachelor. And I'm like, what is that? And he goes, the show The Bachelor. And I'm thinking, I've heard of that. And he said, yeah, they're doing a one for old people. I was like, hmm. He goes, I'm going to just sign you up. And he said, if I sign you up, if you get an email, respond, promise me. And I was like, okay, Brendan, like they're really going to email me back, but they did. So bing, bang, and boom, it just sort of happened. And there I was.
So tell me, how has this impacted your life presently?
Well, aside from some weird phone calls and that kind of a thing, it's impacted my life in a really good way in the sense that given that whole month that I was there filming a show, I was forced to slow down. I was, kind of forced to, we don't have any electronics or anything. We're really focused on what we're doing and the connections that we're making. And of course, really dating with intention. And so, down come the walls. You realize you have a shortened amount of time to really see if you can make this work and if this person is somebody that you're truly interested in. And he was. So, even though it didn't work out in the long run, it made me come back. I quit my school teaching job because I felt like my life was just way too busy. And I wanted to make room in my life for love if it happens. So I had quit the band prior to going on the show so that could free up some weekends. I quit my school teaching job because, as much as I love teaching, it is all consuming. You just can't do anything else. So I still play a little music and that kind of thing, but it's impacted me in a really positive way about just staying in the present, really making sure that every connection that I make is meaningful and trying to just do a little less of the distractive stuff that happens in life so that I can be more present and hopefully meet that guy that will want to partner up with me someday.
Well, I like that you slowed down because you're a very busy person and always in a hurry. So that was probably kind of nice, right?
Yeah. And Stacy, I am one of those never in a hurry people now. I'm like la di da. I feel like I'm walking through mud. I'm just way more calm. I don't have to rush to everything I do. And so yeah, that's been a big, wonderful impact for me.
I'm so glad to hear that. So I have to ask you, from the very beginning, you got the very first rose, the inspiration rose, when you show up, and I polled a bunch of our viewers that were watching at a local establishment here in town. I said, will she come up on a horse, a motorcycle, or in the limo? And they were divided. A lot of people said horse because we know you love horses. But when you pulled up on the motorcycle and did the hair flip, which is now a gift,
A gift, yeah.
how did that, how is that to become a gift?
Oh my gosh. I said when I got done and I got home and everything, I was like, that's one of the best parts of the show. Check that out. Look at that. That was so fun. Yeah. And the motorcycle thing, it's hard to know what to do. I didn't know what anybody else was going to do. I'd never seen the show, so I didn't know the kind of cutesy stuff people did. So I was really at a loss. And I had brought my guitar just because I could never survive a month without having a guitar if I got to stay that long. So when those things came up, it's like, well, what kind of encapsulates who you are? Well, me and music. I don't ride motorcycles all that much anymore, but I still love them and hold my endorsements. So they're like, hey, do you want to ride in and then sing to Gary with your guitar? And I'm like, okay. I mean, you guys know better than I do. I have no idea, So yeah, it just kind of worked out, and I was glad that I did it. But I did burn my leg on the motorcycle pipe, something on the exhaust. So yeah, that was fun.
Now, how was it living for a month with so many women in a small, I mean, it was a large home, obviously, but
Yeah.
small spaces?
Yeah, and we all slept in that one room, 4 of us. And it's funny because when I found out we were going to do that, I was like, "Oh, geez." I think a couple of times I said, "I'll sleep out on the porch," and they're like, "No, there's tarantulas out there." But I would have at that point, but they wouldn't allow it, and that was okay because what it ended up to be is a heck of a lot of fun. And the cool thing was, first thing in the morning, you walk downstairs and everybody's kind of coming for coffee, so there's always somebody to chit chat with, and some of the funniest and most entertaining talks that we had was when we were going to bed at night, all of us just giggling and talking about silly things. And it was kind of nice. It actually turned out to be far more pleasant than I thought it would be. I thought it would be really weird. Now it was crowded, so there is that. That was probably the only negative, is that there was clothes everywhere and shoes everywhere and suitcases everywhere. But aside from that, it was good, surprisingly.
One of the fan favorite moments was the never have I ever. And
Oh,
you
geez.
were involved in that.
I don't know how to play that game. I'm still not completely clear because they talk about it in like a double negative. So,
Right.
like Susan, I remember she goes, and that's the one that confused me. She goes, "Never have I ever not gone on a date with Gary," and I'm like, but you haven't gone on it. And then everybody's eating ice cream. I'm just like, this is not making sense to me. So I wasn't sure if we were supposed to eat or not eat. It just the whole game did not make sense. So yeah, I'm sure everybody got a kick out of that. Yeah.
You're a very truthful person, so you probably revealed some,
Oh,
things you didn't
little
want.
too truthful. Yeah.
All right. How about tell us about the drama in the house? They showed some dramatic moments between some of the other contestants, the other ladies, and it seemed that you were kind of away from that. How did you stay
Yeah,
out?
well, me, I'm clueless. I think really I was so tunnel visioned, and I had to apologize for being completely self-absorbed because I'm like, I didn't know anything was going on, for two reasons. One was because all my thoughts were about Gary, and the other thing was, we all get along really, really well in the house, and everybody seemed so supportive. So I couldn't even fathom that there would be an issue. That would never have occurred to me. So my mind instantly went, "Oh, it's a misunderstanding. It's just completely a misunderstanding," which the other part of it is, you're in a house with all these women, we're all dating the same guy. For whatever reason, it does sort of put you in a heightened state of emotion. So it's not unusual for interpersonal relationships to, kind of clash a little bit. But really, I don't think is a big deal. I think it was a misunderstanding, and they're both lovely ladies and they worked it out. So no big deal.
So the fantasy date. Let's talk about the helicopter ride to a yacht.
Hi, Erin.
Was
So
it
sorry to interrupt, but we just have to make this one last question. It's all the time we have with Faith.
Okay.
fantasy date? Absolutely amazing. So it's so incredible. It was just over the top, really over the top.
Not to cut you off, but one quick question. Would you be a golden bachelorette if that were a thing?
Like I said, I don't know how they do that. I would think that they've probably already talked to whoever it is, and it ain't me.
Mm.
So, I would say yes to something like that because it was such an amazing experience. But I also think they might go for the flashier women, for that kind of a thing. But I don't take it from me because I know nothing about any of that stuff. So, but yeah, I would have had to have said yes because hey, they 25 men or so, and they vet them really well. It's probably a good idea to do that.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for the interview, Faith. Great talking
Thanks,
to you. I'll see
Stacy.
you soon around town.
Okay, okay.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.